Hi, this is Christina from Proverbs 31 Woman, and today I'm going to show you how to make manure or compost tea. It's definitely not something you drink. It's something for your plants to drink. It's just a liquid fertilizer that gives a quick boost of nutrients to the plant, which is going to help it grow bigger faster. It's a great thing to use in the spring when you have young plants and you want them to get a good start to the season. I'm going to be using some aged sheep manure, but you could use any kind of manure that you might use in the garden. So you could use rabbit manure, chicken, cattle, pig, goat. The rule of thumb is if you wouldn't take it from the animal pen and use it right away on your garden, then you shouldn't use it in your compost tea. You would want to let it sit for at least 6 months. This lets it cool off, gets the nitrogen out of the manure, because if you have too much nitrogen, it's going to burn your plants and they're going to die. So if you don't have manure, you can either buy some, you can buy it bagged in a lot of big box stores, or you could use compost, homemade compost or store-bought, it doesn't matter. And the only other things you need are water, some kind of bucket. Some people like to make a huge batch and they'll use a garbage can. And you're also going to need a pillowcase. You could just go to a thrift store and buy a pillowcase, or maybe you have an older one in your linen closet you could use. And something to tie off the pillowcase with. I'm going to use a rubber band. You could use rope. It's very easy. Let's get started. So to begin, all you do is put manure in the pillowcase. You don't need a whole lot. This is not a very large bucket, so it's not going to take a great deal of manure. If you were doing, say, a garbage can full of compost tea, then you might fill your pillowcase up near the top anyway. Yep, I'm just using my hands. All right, so I have a fair amount of manure here in my pillowcase, and I'm just going to take my rubber band, give this a twist or two, and tie it off. Think of this as a tea bag. That's really all it is. You're going to steep it in the water. By the way, you might wonder, why do this rather than just put manure in your garden? And it's really about time release. If you put manure in the garden and water it, it's going to slowly fertilize your garden, which is a good thing. But sometimes you want a quick burst of nutrients for your plants, and that's where a liquid fertilizer like compost tea or manure tea comes in really handy. All right, into the bucket it goes, and now I'm just going to add water. When I add the water, I just want to have it come up close to the top of the bucket or the container. Really, how much you use just depends on how much you want. The tea will be diluted before you use it, so bear that in mind. All right, I've added my water, and the bucket wasn't super clean, so there's a few bits of dirt in there. And I have my tea bag full of sheep manure, and I'm going to let this steep for 2 weeks or thereabouts. What I would look for is a nice brownish colored water, like a well-brewed tea. And so we're going to just let this sit here in the greenhouse where it'll be undisturbed, and when 2 weeks are up, I'll show you what to do with it.
Well, I'm back already. It's really been about a week. I could let this brew a bit longer, but it looks nice and dark. Again, we're looking for like a very strongly brewed tea like you would drink, except please don't drink this. And now I am going to just water this down. I want it to look like a light tea is how I would describe it. So there we have it. I just took my jar, dipped it into my bucket of manure tea, added a little bit of fresh water. I think you can see it's a nice golden brown. That's kind of the color we're after. And I've already used some of it to water or fertilize my tomato plants. You might wonder what you would do with the remaining manure in your bucket or in your pillowcase. And I would just go ahead and throw that into your compost. There's probably still good nutrients left in it, and it'll add bulk to your compost as well. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you'll check out some of my other videos on homesteading and gardening, and please share if you enjoy the videos. Thanks a lot. See you next time.